What is up, guys? So the CW just released a trailer for Arrow Season 6, Episode 10, titled Divided, and also seemingly for Episode 11, because just going off the trailer and the description of Episode 11, it seems like some parts of Episode 11 are in this trailer, which makes sense. That might be the reason they haven't released an extended trailer for Arrow yet until now, while they have released for The Flash and Supergirl. Legends I get because it's not coming out till February, but the reason they haven't released it for Arrow yet is probably because they haven't finished filming or editing and putting the finishing touches on episode 11 to make this trailer. I'm also betting that the extended trailers for Supergirl and The Flash are also for episode 10 and 11. So with all that in mind, let's watch the trailer for season 6, episode 10, and seemingly also 11 of Arrow. Let's watch.
January 18th, Arrow returns.
Have to go one more week without shooting a bad guy, I'm gonna bust.
With all new episodes.
Mr. Queen has his army. He should meet ours.
If Cayden James has a posse, then maybe we need to even the playing field.
You don't go into the field with people you can't rely on.
I can't shake how everything went down with Oliver. I had to betray him.
The rest of the team.
There is no rest of the team.
The three of us, we can end Cayden James together.
I prefer chaos.
He wants to watch this city burn.
What are we gonna do here? We're gonna sit around and wait to see how this all plays out?
We're forming a team. I can stop her.
Go get him. I'm so sick of everyone not killing him when they get the chance.
Arrow. All new episodes return Thursday, January 18th on the CW.
So skipping the whole beginning part where with that guy's voice in it, just because there's nothing much to talk about other than the fact that that Green Arrow shot of him shooting his bow, it actually looks pretty cool. But after that, Cayden James says, Mr. Queen has his army, it's time he meets ours. What he's talking about, if you don't know, is the criminal cabal, which I don't know if that's their official name, but that's their name on the Arrowverse wiki, and that's what Mark Guggenheim called them before the season started, the criminal cabal. That might be their official name, we don't know yet. But that team consists of Cayden James, obviously, Anatoly Knyazov, Vigilante, Ricardo Diaz, and also Black Siren, and also Boots, who's the guy right here, who we know nothing about. He's just on the team. He's not a major villain or anything, he's just there. But the main ones are Cayden James, Ricardo Diaz, and Anatoly Knyazov, and also Black Siren and Vigilante. We then see more of the Team Arrow splitting up thing with Oliver saying you can't go into the field with people you can't rely on. After Diggle says Cayden James has a posse, maybe we should even the playing field. This is more of Oliver just being an obnoxious dick to the recruits. It's something that I've complained about a lot in these videos, because it's so annoying and uncharacteristic, and it doesn't make any sense. He said you can't go into the field with people you can't rely on, but if that was true, then he wouldn't go into the field with anybody ever, because everybody has lied or betrayed to him at some point. Like, especially the original Team Arrow right now, Felicity and Diggle both betrayed and lied to him at some point, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't rely on them, he should, but if that's true, then he should also rely on the new recruits, because they didn't really do anything wrong other than Black Canary. Black Canary I get because she was talking to Vigilante, but Wild Dog and Mr. Terrific, especially Mr. Terrific, he just left. He didn't do anything wrong, so Oliver can definitely rely on him. But Wild Dog, I'm going to say that he should rely on him. Wild Dog didn't really do anything wrong. Black Canary I kind of get, but also it's the same thing with Felicity and Diggle. They also betrayed him, but he trusts him. It doesn't really make any sense. I do like, however, that Diggle is actually like telling Oliver you should probably trust the rest of the Team Arrow, that we need to even the playing field, to quote him himself. I like that. I like the fact that Diggle is actually trying to say something against Oliver, because Oliver's clearly in the wrong here. He's not thinking clearly for some reason. He's not acting like he usually acts. Like, he's not as trusting as he usually is, especially with his teammates, like the new recruit teammates. So the fact that Diggle is actually trying to tell him you probably should trust these people is pretty cool. So Oliver says that the three of us, we can end Cayden James. After hearing that, I remember season 1 and 2 when it was just the three of them, and they were capable of taking down Malcolm Merlyn and Deathstroke. So even though I would prefer it if Team Arrow consisted of the new recruits, it actually would make sense if they actually took down Cayden James without them. They don't really need the new recruits, and Green Arrow never needed any backup because in season 1 he took down so many people on his own. Just with backup, he can get injured a little less here and there, but he never needed that many people as backup. So while I like the new recruits and I like them on the team, I would prefer it if they show how well this Team Arrow, although I don't like original Team Arrow, they were very proficient in season 1 and 2, so I'd like it if they showed how well they can be a team in this episode, and actually maybe even take down Cayden James in episode 11 or something, and for good, and then Ricardo Diaz becomes the main villain, but not before there's an Arrow Civil War, because an Arrow Civil War is something that I'm very, very interested in. You got Oliver Queen, Felicity, and Diggle versus Wild Dog, Black Canary, and Mr. Terrific. Obviously, that's not actually a fair fight because we saw in the crossover that Dark Arrow, or Black Arrow defeated the new recruits single-handedly, and then Green Arrow defeated him. So Green Arrow alone could defeat the new recruits, apparently, but they could make it believable. They could maybe even add another member to each team to even it out, like a super powerful guy on new recruits and a not very powerful guy on Team Arrow, like Roy Harper on one side, and then Ragman on the new recruits team, which would kind of even out the playing field because Ragman is clearly more powerful than Roy Harper. And since both Roy Harper and Wild Dog are coming back this season, eventually, we know that Roy Harper's come back in episode 15. We don't know when Ragman's coming back, but he will come back. So if Green Arrow, Spartan, and Arsenal, and also Felicity in the background versus Ragman, Wild Dog, and Black Canary, and also Mr. Terrific, that would probably be a more fair fight. But like I said, I want Ricardo Diaz to become the main villain of the season, and I think it's very possible for a bunch of reasons. One of them is that we were actually promised Ricardo Diaz to be. We were promised that Richard Dragon will be the main villain of this season, and then it turned out that Cayden James is for now. Another thing is that in the description for episode 11, we see that Cayden James is starting his plan already, starting his endgame plan in episode 11, which is a little early for the main villain's main plan to be put into effect. Usually, it's near the season finale that the main big endgame plan is seen for the first time. So episode 12 is a little early, which makes me think that Ricardo Diaz might possibly either original Team Arrow defeats Cayden James or they kill him, and Ricardo Diaz becomes the main villain of the season, which Ricardo Diaz is definitely a much more interesting main villain than Cayden James, especially because he's a fighter and Cayden James is a hacker. Like, I would much rather see a fight than a hacking fight, which is the main reason I want Ricardo Diaz to replace Cayden James. But also, the reasons I mentioned are reasons that I think he will probably replace Cayden James as the main villain of season. So this shot right here of William in a bus is the main reason I think that this trailer is for episode 10 and 11. Also for the fact that in the beginning he said all new episodes, not an all new episode. But William being in this bus probably is from episode 11, because in the description of episode 11 it says that William gets endangered because of Cayden James' actions. So the fact that we see him in his bus here in this trailer shows me that this trailer is for episode 10 and 11, which it makes sense. Also in the trailer, in the description for episode 11, it says that Cayden James wants to take control of every aspect of the city, and here you see something blowing up in that tunnel and then William's bus being affected by it. That's basically what I predicted in my synopsis breakdown for this episode. I said that Cayden James will take control of something and then William will be in his bus or something like that. I literally said William will probably get endangered when he's in his bus or something. I don't know why I said that, but it turns out to be true. But that definitely shows me that this clip right here of William is from episode 11, because you see him getting endangered because of something that Cayden James probably took control of. Right here we see Diggle has a new costume and it looks pretty cool. It's got it's been 6 years and he finally got a costume. I don't know why it took so long. He technically had one in season 4 and 5, but those were just just like black jackets and a stupid helmet in season 4. It wasn't really a costume, but here he officially gets a costume with the red here and there, and it looks pretty cool. And then we just see a bunch of action scenes, and that's basically the entire trailer. So let me know what you thought about the trailer in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.